Pressure reveals potential, not weakness. Every challenge you face is not there to expose how small you are, but to reveal how strong you can become when you choose not to give up. Most people run from pressure because they mistake it for punishment, but pressure is actually the signal that something great is about to be produced in your life. Think about it. Every diamond started as a piece of carbon, but it didn't stay that way because of comfort. It became valuable because of pressure. Without that intensity, without that squeezing, it would never shine, never sparkle, never be worth anything more than a lump of rock. Life works the same way. When pressure hits you, it's a divine process designed to pull greatness out of you that comfort could never reach. Pressure is the gym for your character, the fire for your vision, and the test for your discipline. You can't pray for strength and expect it to come without resistance. Just like you can't build muscle without weights. When life applies pressure, it's not to break you down, it's to build you up in ways you couldn't build yourself. The truth is, your potential is not found in what's easy. It's revealed in how you respond when things get hard, when your plans fall apart, when people walk away, when everything you counted on starts to shake. That's when your real power shows up. Because potential that isn't tested stays hidden. Pressure brings it to the surface. A person under pressure learns who they are. They discover what matters most. You find out if you're really committed to your dream when it starts costing you something. Everybody loves the idea of success until it requires sacrifice, but pressure is the price of purpose. You can't have a calling and avoid the crushing. You can't talk about being great and then run from the grind. That's why so many people stay average. They want reward without resistance. But the pressure is where your purpose gets purified. It strips away the excuses, the laziness, the fear, and the doubt until all that's left is the version of you that's ready to handle what you've been asking for. When pressure comes, it's your opportunity to grow, not your signal to quit. Most people fold when they feel pressure, but those who understand its purpose lean in. They know that diamonds aren't born in peace. They're born in heat. Gold isn't refined in a quiet room, it's refined in fire. The same goes for you. When life turns up the heat, it's burning away the parts of you that can't handle the blessing you've been preparing for. That job that stressed you out, that rejection that broke your heart, that setback that knocked you down, it wasn't random. It was pressure doing its job. It was training you to be stronger, wiser, sharper, and more focused than you were before. Your pressure doesn't just reveal your potential, it defines your boundaries. It teaches you what you can handle, what you'll tolerate, and how far you're willing to go for what you believe in. The reason some people never rise is that the moment life gets hard, they stop believing. They think discomfort means they're off track, when really it's proof they're right where they're supposed to be. Growth doesn't happen in ease, it happens in endurance. When the weight feels too heavy, that's not the time to give up. That's the time to push through. Because every rep under pressure expands your capacity. You can't go to the next level carrying the same strength from the last one. Pressure upgrades your power. Look at anyone who has done something great, and you'll see someone who's been under extreme pressure. Athletes under training, entrepreneurs during failure, artists facing rejection. All of them became who they are because pressure demanded more from them than comfort ever could. The same principle applies to your life. You don't become valuable because things go smoothly. You become valuable because you learn how to keep showing up when they don't. Pressure is not a sign of weakness. It's an invitation to discover your strength. Sometimes the pressure you're feeling is simply life testing your belief in what you said you wanted. You said you wanted success. Now life wants to see if you can stay consistent when it's not fun. You said you wanted impact. Now life wants to know if you can still lead when nobody claps for you. You said you wanted freedom. Now life is checking if you can stay disciplined when no one's watching. That's pressure. It's the proof process. It's where you prove to yourself that your dream is more than talk. There's also another side of pressure people forget. It clarifies your priorities. When everything's easy, you'll say yes to everything. But when pressure hits, you're forced to focus. You stop wasting time on distractions because pressure has a way of revealing what's essential. It makes you think differently, work differently, and believe differently. You stop chasing validation and start building value. You stop waiting for perfect timing and start moving with purpose. You start realizing that pressure is not your enemy, it's your ally. And what's most powerful is that once you've learned to handle pressure, life can't intimidate you anymore. You develop calm in chaos. You become unshakable in storms. You stop reacting to the weight and start rising under it. The same things that used to break you now build you because you've learned that potential is never proven in peace. It's revealed in pressure. Every great breakthrough starts with something that tried to break you. The moment you start embracing pressure instead of escaping it, you begin to unlock parts of yourself that have been waiting to emerge all along. Breaking moments shape the mindset for blessing. Every person who ever reached greatness first went through a season that tried to break them. Those breaking moments aren't there to destroy your life. They're there to dismantle the version of you that can't carry what's coming next. The truth is, before you level up, something in you has to let go. Maybe it's your comfort, maybe it's your pride, maybe it's your fear. But breaking always comes before building. You can't pour new potential into an old mindset. You can't receive a greater blessing while holding on to smaller beliefs. That's why life doesn't just promote you, it prepares you by pressing you. Every disappointment, every closed door, every setback is a tool shaping your thinking so you can handle the success you've been asking for. The mind you had when you started the journey isn't the same mind you'll need to finish it. At the beginning, you might be excited, confident, and full of vision. But when you start experiencing loss, confusion, or rejection, that's when your mindset starts to mature. The breaking season teaches you things success never could. You start learning patience, humility, resilience, and emotional control. You start realizing that everything doesn't have to go your way for you to keep moving forward. Breaking moments train your focus. They strip away the illusion that you're in control and replace it with the understanding that you're responsible for your effort, not every outcome. That shift in mindset is what creates mental toughness. It's not about perfection, it's about endurance. When life breaks you, it's actually refining your perspective. You begin to see that blessings aren't just about getting more, they're about becoming more. You can't appreciate abundance if you've never been through lack. You can't value peace until you've wrestled with chaos. The breaking season teaches gratitude because it makes you aware of what truly matters. It forces you to stop chasing validation and start building character. You begin to realize that real strength isn't loud, it's steady. It's in the way you show up even when you're tired, in the way you keep believing when nothing's working, in the way you keep giving your best even when nobody's watching. Those are the habits that form under pressure and breaking moments. They become the foundation that can sustain your blessing when it comes. The breaking process also removes the dependency on comfort. Comfort is dangerous because it makes you settle for average. Breaking shakes you awake. It disrupts routines that kept you stagnant. It challenges you to face your fears, to grow out of your excuses, and to confront your limits. People often pray for a bigger life, but forget that a bigger life requires a bigger mindset. That means old habits, toxic attitudes, and self-doubt can't come with you. Breaking moments tear those things away. They're painful because they touch the parts of you that resist change, but they're necessary because transformation doesn't happen in convenience. Growth begins where comfort ends, and breaking is the bridge that connects who you are with who you're becoming. The mindset of blessing is built through struggle. When everything is easy, your mind gets soft. But when you've been broken and rebuilt, you think differently. You stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" and start saying, what is this teaching me? You stop looking for shortcuts and start trusting the process. You understand that every challenge carries a lesson and every delay carries a purpose. That's the difference between a victim mindset and a growth mindset. The breaking shifts your focus from blame to responsibility, from fear to faith in your ability, from comfort to commitment. You begin to realize that strength doesn't come from avoiding like pain. It comes from facing it with the right perspective. Another thing breaking moments do is teach humility. When you're at the top, it's easy to think it's all you. But when life knocks you down, you remember that success is not guaranteed. It's earned through consistent growth. Breaking moments humble you enough to listen, to learn, to adapt. They teach you how to handle people, how to lead with empathy, how to stay grounded no matter how high you rise. That's why many people who skip the breaking stage end up losing diet. What they gain, they never develop the mindset to maintain it. The breaking prepares you to manage blessing without arrogance and success without losing your soul in the process. You can't fake the mindset that comes from being broken. It carries a different weight, a different wisdom, a different kind of calm. You don't panic as easily because you've already survived worse. You don't need as much approval because you've learned how to validate yourself. You don't chase as many things because you realized what truly satisfies you. That's the kind of mindset that's unshakable, the one that's been tested, challenged, and refined. Breaking moments don't just give you strength, they give you vision. They help you see beyond the temporary pain and recognize the long-term purpose behind it. You know, the process of breaking also builds emotional intelligence. It teaches you to regulate your emotions instead of reacting to them. When things fall apart, you learn how to stay centered. You stop confusing feelings with facts. You understand that how you feel isn't always an indicator of what's true. You might feel defeated, but you're still developing. You might feel alone, but you're still growing. You might feel lost, but you're still learning. That mindset gives you stability in seasons where everything else seems unstable. It's what allows you to keep going when most people would give up. You know, when you're being broken, it's easy to misinterpret the process. You think something's wrong, but actually something's being made right. You think you're losing everything, but you're actually gaining clarity. You think you're falling apart, but you're really falling into alignment with your purpose. Every breaking point becomes a building block for the new version of you. And once you've gone through that kind of transformation, you start to move differently. You walk with quiet confidence, not because life got easier, but because your mindset got stronger. You stop chasing blessings and start becoming the kind of person blessings are drawn to. That's the power of being broken the right way. It shapes your thinking until your life matches your true potential. Transformation always comes before elevation. Everybody wants to rise, but not everybody wants to change. The truth is, you can't step into a new level with the same habits, same mindset, and same energy that belonged to your last season. Transformation is not about getting something new. It's about becoming someone new. Before life elevates you, it will always challenge you to evolve. It will strip away the things that don't serve your future and force you to confront the parts of yourself that can't handle more. Elevation sounds glamorous, but transformation is gritty. It's uncomfortable, it's uncertain, and it requires sacrifice. That's why most people stay where they are. They want elevation without evolution. They want success without surrender, growth without grind. But transformation is the gatekeeper to every level of greatness. You know, transformation happens in the unseen spaces of your life long before anyone notices your elevation. It's in the late nights when you're questioning yourself but still choosing to stay focused. It's in the moments when you could quit but you choose to keep building. It's in the silence where no one is cheering, no one is clapping, yet you continue to work on your vision. That's the transformation zone, the place where the old version of you starts dying so the new one can be born. You begin to think differently, act differently, and respond differently. What used to discourage you doesn't shake you anymore. What used to distract you doesn't pull you off track. You start mastering your emotions instead of being controlled by them. That's not luck. That's transformation doing its quiet work inside of you. Elevation requires capacity, and transformation builds that capacity. When you ask for bigger blessings, you're also asking for bigger responsibility. You can't handle greater weight with a smaller mindset. Transformation expands your ability to manage more without losing balance. It teaches you how to sustain growth instead of collapsing under it. A lot of people fail after success because they were elevated before they were transformed. They got the position, but not the perspective, the platform, but not the preparation. Transformation ensures that when you rise, you can remain. It strengthens your discipline, your patience, and your focus, so your success becomes stable, not situational. Transformation also demands honesty. You can't change what you keep pretending. Doesn't need work. The hardest part of growth isn't learning new things. It's unlearning old ones. It's admitting that some of your habits are holding you back, that some of your beliefs are outdated, that some of your comfort zones are really cages. The process of transformation forces you to face yourself. It exposes the excuses, the procrastination, the fear that's been hiding under your confidence. It's not about judging yourself. It's about upgrading yourself. Once you start taking accountability, you stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. Transformation begins the moment you stop blaming your circumstances and start building your character. The beauty of transformation is that it's not always loud. It doesn't always look impressive from the outside. It might look like isolation, like silence, like losing people, or starting over. But that's the season when your internal wiring is being rewritten. The things that used to define you no longer fit. The crowd you used to relate to doesn't understand you anymore. The dreams that once scared you start to feel like destiny. You begin to walk differently, not because life got easier, but because you've grown stronger. Transformation shifts your identity from who you were to who you were created to become. That's why people who haven't gone through it can't always recognize your direct process. They're judging your current stage without seeing your future strength. Transformation also teaches you alignment. You start realizing that everything doesn't deserve your energy. Yeah. You stop chasing every opportunity because you understand that not everything good is meant for you. You start protecting your peace, valuing your time, and surrounding yourself with people who challenge your growth, not your comfort. That's how you prepare for elevation, by creating internal order before external success arrives. Because if you get elevated without alignment, the same things that used to distract you will destroy you at a higher level. Transformation ensures that your inside matches your outside. You become congruent, your words, your actions, and your purpose start moving in the same direction. Nope, true transformation is not a one-time event, it's a lifestyle. Every level of your journey will require a new version of you. Each time you think you've arrived, life will present a new challenge designed to pull something deeper out of you. You'll face moments that test your patience, seasons that test your faith, and opportunities that test your discipline. Those aren't signs of failure. They're signals that transformation is still in progress. You're being stretched to fit the size of your calling. Every test, every delay, every obstacle is molding your mindset for the elevation that's waiting ahead. Transformation also brings clarity. As you grow, you start to see things you couldn't see before. You recognize patterns that used to trap you. You start making decisions with wisdom instead of emotion. You stop moving based on pressure and start moving based on purpose. You stop comparing your journey to others because you realize everyone's elevation comes on its own timeline. Transformation gives you peace in progress. It teaches you that growth is messy but meaningful. You stop rushing the process because you understand that elevation without transformation is unstable success. You'd rather move slowly in strength than rise quickly and crumble. When transformation is complete, elevation becomes natural. You don't have to force it, fake it, or chase it. Opportunities start finding you because you've become the person who can handle them. The doors that once intimidated you now open easily because you've developed the confidence to walk through them. Transformation builds that kind of confidence. It's quiet, it's grounded, it's earned. You stop needing validation because you've already proven yourself to yourself. Elevation is simply the world catching up to what transformation already made true inside of you. That's why transformation always comes first. You can't skip it, you can't fake it, you can't outsource it. It's the work that no one sees, but everyone feels once you rise. It's the process that refines your purpose, purifies your motives, and prepares your life for more. You can't take shortcuts in transformation because what you skip will show up later in your elevation. When you embrace the process, when you surrender to growth, and when you commit to changing from the inside out, you position yourself for a kind of success that lasts. You don't just rise, you evolve into the kind of person who can stay elevated without falling back into who you used to be.